Tony, I have a very great surprise today. Miss Korbalagae, who is one of my members and clients, decided to come live with me. So I'm going to be interviewing her and she will be interviewing me as well. So I've never done this before. She's my first interview of the year. She's a client, she's become a dear friend, and I'm so inspired by the work she does. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and the work she does today. So please go on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach Toyin. I call you Coach proudly.
Oh,
Hi everyone. I am Korbalagae Kuawogai. I am the founder of Yasaro's Early Learning. It is a company that solves for, I'm going to use Coach Toyin's words, that solves for literacy in early childhood. I realize it's something I've done my entire career, making sure children have access to high quality education, teaching them to read. And it's time I do it on my own terms. I've done it in the US, in Cameroon, in the UAE, as a teacher trainer, as a curriculum specialist. And most recently, I was the head of the curriculum and development unit for the United Arab Emirates. So it has been quite a journey, gaining lots of skills, soft skills, and competencies as I've gone along. And now I'm just so eager to do this on my own. I also, because education is my heart, want to do this for the most vulnerable populations.
mm,
So I am Liberian, and Liberia has always been had a special place in my heart. And so I've been working with a nonprofit group there, helping them upskill their teachers, and then I've been working with the ministry as well through the group to develop curriculum. And there's a new project that we're getting underway with an amazing group out of Italy. Um, which would make Liberia one of 3 countries that has this amazing early childhood program. So there's a lot of things I do.
I love it. I love it. So, yeah, in my books, you're a leading expert. You're a global leading expert in your space.
Yes.
I love it because you're working with government really to accelerate and take them to the latest, greatest in your space. You're collaborating with teachers. You're also serving stay-at-home moms that want to teach at home, right? So the diversity of what you're going after is very fascinating to me. So I'm also inquisitive to say, how is the entrepreneurship journey? So for you going from the classroom, okay,
Mm-hmm.
working with governments, helping them with curriculum and helping them to, really, you know your world more than I do in terms of UAE, which is, you told me is more advanced. They're kind of leading in that space. How has that transition been from going into the class to serving in the government, the government, right? Serving the government, and then going into entrepreneurship and putting programs together that you now serve other people in. How has that been for you?
It has been a process of every time a leap has been made or a change has been made, it was a shock, but at the same
Mm,
time, when I look back, it wasn't. Because when I decided to go into education, I told myself 10 years in the classroom only,
mm,
because that would give me enough time to hone my craft and then be able to have a seat at the table where
mm,
decisions are being made. Because as an early childhood person, education in general, we normally get the last bits of whatever. And early childhood would get the very last bits. And I always thought the people who are making decisions don't know what I do.
mm,
They need people like me there to be the voice for those in the classroom. So let me do my time there and then transition on. What that looked like, I don't know. I think I thought I
mm,
was a principal, but that is not at all what happened. And what I discovered is going from the classroom to school leadership to consulting to being in the government, there were problems I could solve, but each of those roles were very constricting for me.
mm,
That's the thing I came to realize. Like there were, and it's because you're working within an organization that has its own priorities.
mm,
They know what they're trying to do, and your ideas may not always come to light, or it may take years. Like
Mm.
the foundational work that my team finally executed right before I left in December, which was amazing. I did 2.5 years before. And
Wow.
it was told, nah, this is silly, only for it to come back and, oh, this is amazing. And I thought,
Wow.
you know what? I can collapse time if I'm doing this on my own.
Mm. Wow.
So
Wow.
that was, and then the other thing is, I genuinely believe there's the Bruffenbrenner model of socioeconomic change, basically, which puts the child at the center.
Mm-hmm.
And if a child is at the center of everything we do in society, then that means there needs to be a team around them.
Mm.
And Yasa Rose can help build that team, bringing resources to parents and teachers in terms of strategies, what reading should look like at home and in the classroom. And you can use the same resources, and I can tell you how to do it. It,
Awesome.
so it's
Wow.
interesting.
Yes, I'm sure. So I'm here joining from Chicago. Where are you joining from? And what differences have you seen as you've traveled around the world? Do you see differences from country to country in their approach?
Mhm. I'm currently in Maryland, where I'm visiting family and a little bit of a break. And there are huge differences from country to country. So, and it's been interesting because even though I have not taught in the UK, a lot of my colleagues in the UAE are British.
Mm.
And we talk about the differences in approach. In the US, we are early child is very clinical.
Wow.
We are. We're very clinical in our approach, very structured, outcomes based. Early child in the UK is very, I call it more fluffy, more soft, more
Oh.
what's the child interested in. And so it was a struggle when we all came together because we have the UAE nationals who have a very rote memorization approach.
Mm. More African. African. We did it in Africa too.
It is. I was gonna say Cameroon was, but in Cameroon it was that I taught an American school, so we had the same model that I was
Okay.
familiar with. And when I'm in Liberia, it is very rote. Esoso, Giogo, Elolo. I was like, really? We're
Wow.
still doing this, guys? No, no.
Wow.
But it's very different, and what I've been privileged to experience is what education looks like in some of these leading countries, had some of their leading minds come and speak with us and us share what our good practice is. So Australia and New Zealand they're much more like the UK, but they also have some of that American approach, and they
Mm.
are some of the cutting edge in what early childhood should look, well, not should, looks like in their context. Um,
Wow.
so it's very different, and I think everywhere has something to contribute.
Mm.
And the one thing I was very grateful for with my team was making sure that, um, and this is something that's helped me with this entrepreneurial journey, is structuring learning around the culture and the needs of that place.
Wow. So making it in context.
Yes, context is everything. It is everything.
Wow.
And that helped. And I'll say, going through the whole, from even being in the classroom, because in early childhood it's very much about that child. What does that child need to be able to learn? And it translates beautifully to, what does my customer need from
Yes.
me? So
Yes.
when I sit and think about it, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I did this, but the
Yes.
kid.
Yes. And that's really taking me to the next question of, so when we connected, I was amazed because I'm telling you, your work was very impressive because you've already done so much already,
Thank you.
right? So you had so much that we could work with immediately. And what I would say is the bulk of the work we did was strategic and mindset. Do you want to talk a little bit about? Because I'm curious to see how was that journey for you before, during, and then after.
I will say, I'm one who understands the technical stuff. I've always been that way. But it's in the past couple of years, I've come to understand the importance of mindset. And then in 2020, when I was like, all right, I'm going to do this, everything I kept watching was about mindset. So I read a lot of books and whatnot. And it's a process. So
Mm.
I had started the process a bit, but when I came to you, I know that very first meeting we had, you called me out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you called me out on some things.
Oh,
I was like, I needed it,
oh,
because you don't go to the doctor if you're not
oh.
sick.
Like for me, it's always about wanting the best. It's what I call the blind spot, right? Because I also wanted my spouse, the people who care about need to be able to help us see what we're not seeing because they want us to move faster. They want us to be more successful. But I know that that process it's not easy. That's why I don't tend to offer it online on social. I actually people have to give me permission to go there. And you were ready. You were hungry for that.
Yeah.
So thank
That's
you.
why I came. That is why I came, because I remember that first session we had. One of the things you gave me an assignment to go and do, and it seemed so simple. And it was just basically write down everything, because you told me you're hiding.
Oh
You've
my
done
gosh.
so much, but you're hiding. And I was like, what's she hiding? Not hiding. I get
Yeah,
on and I
because
video.
I saw I saw greatness.
Yeah.
I saw greatness and I still see greatness.
Thank you.
And for me, if you allow me to say it, because this is something I don't do, right? It's that sometimes could could we be playing consciously or subconsciously less than we are?
Yes.
Why? So for me, my study when I developed the game plan 12 strategies for winning is that oftentimes we, right, in growing up, we want people to affirm the greatest side of us because when that is affirmed, we will lean in,
Mm-hmm.
we would lean forward into becoming more of what people are celebrating,
Yes.
right? So in some ways my dad was that he was kind of an a you too, right? So for me, I lost some of that, the immigrant story, right? Where you go from that's your dream, you can be. In fact, my journey to America is also the journey of my family saying, go be the greatest. If that's the land where stars are born, we want you there. We will send you to the best place in the world, right? Some people come running from something, some people come running towards something. For me, it was the launch pad that my family offered me, and for many of us it's that.
Mm-hmm.
What happens unfortunately is that when we get into that immigrant mindset, the next couple of years is really trying to rebuild your life, your identity, becoming a student, at least for me. And along that journey there are parts of us that I would say become dormant because
Yes.
we're not using it. And that part of me was activated again when my dad passed, you know. So I have gone through mine. So when I see it, I call it out kindly,
Mm-hmm.
gently. I offer, I'm like, like, let's show the world this side of us, the fierce, you know,
Yeah.
leading experts, global thinker, world
The thing
shaper.
I'm telling you, when you say things like leading expert, global thinker, global leader, I had a friend who kept saying that to me when I first started, and I was like, whatever. What are you talking about? I just, I'm a kindergarten teacher, and he's like, no,
But
you're not.
it's true
You
though.
are
But it's
so much
true.
more than that. And when you gave me that task to write down, it was so simple. Write down what you've done. I sat back and I went, wow, oh my goodness. Huh, why am I playing so small? I've done this stuff. There's no lies here. This is all stuff I've done. Oh, okay. And that one exercise started to shift things for me. And then as I went through, because I had been doing my videos, I had been writing my blogs and whatnot, but the energy was not behind it. Energy.
Hmm.
I did a live today. reintroducing myself, whatever. And I felt a different energy.
Wow. Remember, I say passion
Yeah.
sells, desire buys. We need to pump. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Go on, please. Go on.
Yeah, because and this is my passion, like early childhood education. This is I always would say I don't know very much in this life, but I do know early childhood. I can talk about that from dusk till dawn. Like this is my baby. This is my passion. I want to make sure children have their best start possible and that parents feel confident because there's I feel in working with parents I have felt especially if it's their first child or if they have a child who's struggling, there's this feeling of shame.
Oh, no. Wow.
There's this feeling of, am I doing it right? I don't quite, and I just want to be like, you're doing the best you can, A, and B, there's a team here to help you, and this
Mm,
is how you can help.
love it.
Like this is because we're a team.
I
We
love it. I love because what you've just demonstrated is what I say when we've done all the work selling, what we've built becomes very easy. It's like a no brainer. I see you, I know you, I have empathy for you, I care about you, I care about your success. I care enough to have created a solution that can
yes,
help make your life better. Why wouldn't I share that with you? And guess what? I will lead you to the solution and I will be on that journey with you.
yes,
And that's what I call happily ever after.
yeah,
That's what I, so I, that's what I say in my process is that selling at that point, we will show up, we will do content because we know why. So, do
yeah.
you want to tell people in terms of your approach towards content creation, marketing, business development before, and then the journey we've been on, and now how you're designing your content differently?
Listen, before it was just what do I do now?
Hmm.
Let's write a blog about something, but how do I and what do I do? And so what I was doing was making my life difficult. I was writing these blog posts and then making videos that really have nothing they had nothing to do with each other.
Hmm.
And and then I would share the links on like my Facebook, my blog posts, and then my videos on my. It was so difficult.
Wow.
It was more work than it needed to be,
Hmm.
and a couple of things happened. I was watching a guy who also in my space, and he was like, "Teachers, listen, if you're trying to do this, why are you writing when we are speakers?
Hmm.
We stand in front of kids all day and we talk.
Hmm.
That's what we do." And I was like, "You're right." And for me, I've gone beyond that. I have trained over 5,000 teachers. I
Wow.
have sat, I mean, and
You're an
it's
expert. This is it.
this is what I do. I stand and I talk and I explain things and I answer questions and I give you practical examples. And this is this is what I do. And so from meeting you, and I need to tell them how I found you and how I chased you down around the
Oh my
internet
gosh.
and seeing how the process you go through to make it so easy for yourself because social media, I've never been a big social media person. And so trying to make the Instagram posts and then the Facebook posts and then the YouTube videos. And I was just like, I can't even, I can't
Wow.
cope with this. I'll try, but I am one who will get stuck in the weeds,
Mm-hmm.
making sure it's just right. And then I meeting with you, going through the process of, clarifying things and then simplifying it. You have all this content, do what will make your life easiest and also what you enjoy. I enjoy videos. And then I saw how you just so smart and you say it in all your free content too. You're like, guys, I am here. I will talk. When I turn this off, done.
I'm done.
It's automated.
It's automated.
And I thought, okay, I'm gonna try that. And that's what I've started today. It was my first day. And I was like, I'm just gonna do the videos instead of doing the pre-recorded videos and having to edit them. And
Wow.
it I made my life really hard.
Hmm.
thumbnails and the scripting and I had a teleprompter and I could read a teleprompter very well. And people are like, "Oh, you are so eloquent and blah blah
But are
blah."
you selling?
I
Right?
wasn't
At the end of the day, remember mindset of an entrepreneur.
I wasn't selling.
You have to sell.
I was teaching. I was in there teaching
And you were giving your content free.
free. And
I,
what
I
I
remember the day. I remembered your highs. There was something I shared, and I said there are different types of content. I said school itself is a content industry. There's content that is instructional, that is teaching. And I saw you go, huh, like, is that what I've been putting on my YouTube?
and Toyin and on my YouTube when I went into my analytics, one of my highest, I think it's my second external is Blackboard.
Blackboard.
So people are taking my content because it's instructional and putting it in their course. And
Oh, wow. Wow.
I thought,
Hmm.
oh, all right. Well, I'm
Wow.
happy that, it's that
It's
good.
used, it's that good.
But at the same time, okay,
Could they
now
have paid for it?
I can
Is
make
it that good that they would have paid for it?
yes.
Right? So
But
let me ask, yeah,
Mhm.
let me ask a question. We went through a lot of exercises that people don't usually go through. We went through branding as well.
Oh my goodness.
Ah, yes. How was that? I see your face. Like the branding exercises.
That clarified so much because again, I'll go back to the beginning when because I've been through several different coaches and you talk about this as well, how there's someone who will talk about this piece and this piece and this piece, but to bring it all together and that process you have, it just clarified it so well. When we got to the branding and you talked about the different components of branding. And the one thing you touched on for like 2 seconds was like colors and stuff like that. And I'm like, when people talk to me about branding, that's what they talk about.
No,
And
it's a strategy.
it doesn't
Color,
matter
yeah,
to
the
me.
color should, yeah. So for example, my color, it's two extremes because I represent two extreme.
Mhm.
My color is more strength, strong in your face, and then I bring in a punch of gentle, soft color. So you see black, like whoa, like I'm wearing black now, like it's in your face. Black is strong, like I'm not here to blend in. I'm
Yep.
not trying to blend in. I'm not trying to be nice. I'm not trying to be sweet. I'm, like the dancing. No, I'm not, I'm none of that. I am authoritative. I am factual. I am truthful. It's black or white. But I'm kind. I want to be approachable, right?
Yeah.
So the color can then reflect your message, but
Mhm.
people go the other way around. What's my logo? I'm like, I didn't even like once you know who you are, who you're serving, and the message you want to bring into the world, you yourself can pick a color.
Yes. And that's the thing about when you went through the branding process, it was that clarity piece that and then the messaging once you
Mm.
were clear on what you were solving, who you were solving for, then how do you message to them
And the value.
and the value, all of that. That was like what clicked in my head was, oh, so my branding is really my messaging and my value for who, and doing that consistently so that people know and they associate that's what the brand is. So then when they see this symbol or whatever, oh yes, yes, yes,
We know who
this
she is.
this that was so powerful for me. It just I said, okay, I can do this now. Because the thing is, and I've said this to you, I need strategy. Strategy is everything. If I'm going to clean my house, there's a strategy behind that. It needs to be efficient. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. It's a waste of my time, my
Right.
energy. The one thing I realized as an entrepreneur is your focus and your energy are priceless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the work we do is priceless as well,
Mhm.
particularly in the right hands. In the
Yes.
hands of the people who desperately need what we can do for them, they see the value. And that's what I say. It's like Cinderella story. We live happily ever after. I find you, you find me. Oh, the stars align, right? That's the beauty of this, right? And
Mhm.
then talking about branding, I always tell people the reason I start mindset before branding is because the branding message has to come from inside out.
That mindset, that
Yeah.
mindset piece is so important. And anyone, because I've heard so many people talk about, oh, mindset, it doesn't, it's just fluffy, whatever. And I'm like, but no, because anything we have has come from someone's mind.
Yes, it's a reflection of how dare us. It's this audacity for us to say something in our consciousness deserves a place in the world,
Hmm.
right? And the strength, the how do I say, the conviction that we have is what needs, we need to also push it out there.
Yes.
But
I
when we are questioning, then it shows up as well.
It does. And I realize that though I have known for years what I was put on this earth to do,
Hmm.
vehicle has changed. And when the vehicle changes, you have to change your mind. Going from being a student to now, this is my classroom, that's a different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
From being, this is my classroom to this is my school, that's a different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going from being an employee to this is my business.
Mm.
That is a huge shift.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
it takes so much work and accepting support
Mm-hmm.
and being willing to invest in the support that you need. That
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. And one thing as well that I see people, should I say, mess with, or they're not aware of, is if you want to be seen, you remember you asked me as a thought leader, you asked me,
yeah,
right? Then you're seeing other things people are doing on places like Instagram and all of those places, but that's not thought leadership.
no,
Like, you don't have any business doing certain things if you're in the business of thought leadership.
right.
So, what does thought leadership look like? You have to elevate your positioning, elevate your brand, because guess what? People will come to you to learn.
Hmm.
That's the whole goal, right? To learn, for you to coach them, for you to guide them, for you to also elevate them. So that's why we have to grow. We have to level up first. We,
Yes.
me, before we tell people we can help them level up.
Yeah. It's
Because
so
if they think you are equal,
what can
this
you
is
do?
the mistake. This is the mindset shift for entrepreneurs. As long as you continue to present yourself like, oh, let's be in relation with one, it's like the teacher and the student eating together. In certain culture, people can still distinguish, but in certain culture, you've just, that familiarity just blows
Hmm.
respect, honor, because at some point, people have to see you as the leader, the coach, the teacher, the guide,
Yep.
somebody that knows something that can help me achieve my aspiration. That's what your brand positioning, everything you do going forward needs to align and be consistent with that.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
do you see the conflict as well out there?
I do. And the thing this we talked about Instagram and how I had issues with Instagram,
But
and
now, do you still have issues?
I still do. I'm working through it.
Okay, good.
I will post because I'm taking a page out of your playbook of, you know what? If I am just, I'm not posting to Instagram, I am posting and it will go wherever. So it's not so focused on the platform. I will just
It's a tool. It's a tool. It's a
it's a
tool.
tool and I will test things out. I be open minded enough to test things out. That's it. That's all I can promise myself. Right?
That's the way to start. So that's good.
We all have to start somewhere. But the thing, as you were talking, what I was thinking about was when elevating yourself as a thought leader, when I would train my teachers, I would have to set myself apart from them, in that, like, when I was training in the UAE, those, I love my Arabic ladies. They'd sit there and look at you just like my American teacher. Teachers are tough. We are a tough crew. Look you up and down. What can you tell me? This is not America. It's different here. So
Mm.
when I was able to come in and say, "Oh, I know, I was in Gayathi, mashallah," I was like,
Mm.
"Yes, mashallah, I survived there." It was okay. So if you were able to do it there, what did you do that work there that I can use in my classroom?
Now there's a openness.
So they knew that not only was I coming with, okay, I have this, I'm coming from the ministry, so yes, I'm in that leadership role, but she understands our context,
Mm.
so we can learn something from her.
Yes.
And this is what our children are like. So I'm trying to take a lot of those lessons I learned while still being an employee and apply them to my people I'm serving.
Exactly. Because it's about knowing them, their
Yes.
desires, their aspirations, their wants, the pain. What did you experience that you want to now solve for them? What are their aspirations? Right. And then the new one I introduced, blind spots. Blind
Looking forward
spots.
to watching that video.
Yes. What do you see that is standing in their way, that is stopping them from achieving success in their space that they cannot see?
See, and the thing is, I'd not thought of it in that way, but in I had a live I just did, and I was introducing myself, whatever, and I talked about a friend of mine, how Yasa Rose came to be, and one thing his son was struggling with when school shut down during COVID. He was like, "I don't understand this kid. He won't sit down and do the worksheets and blah blah blah." And I said, "But that's not what they're supposed to be doing."
Mm,
He was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, no. In kindergarten, worksheets are like a no-no. Our
mm.
children don't learn like that. They are still in a space where they
Exploring.
construct a lot of learning." So then I started giving him ideas. So he had no clue. He
Mm,
just thought his child was being difficult. And I'm like, no, he's being appropriate. You're being difficult.
mm, mm,
Very appropriate. This is what we do, and this is why it works. And he was like, "Oh," so I would give him things to do. Okay, that works. Okay, that was, oh, he liked that. Yeah, because it works differently. And now that you're at home, you have to adopt some of the things we do, but they don't know. And if you don't,
wow.
you
Exactly.
and your child
Wow.
is frustrated, and then everybody's unhappy.
Yeah. So the reason I brought that blind spot in is so it works in different ways.
Hmm.
One of the ways is if you find that you've been posting and sharing content for the last 1 year or 2 years, and the people that have been following you, let's say you have 3,000, whatever thousand number of people, if I were to ask those 3,000 people, how would you describe what this person does? You may find out that most of them may not really even be able to explain. You know what? They've been seeing your content,
Hmm.
but if what you're solving for is sitting in their blind spots, they don't know they need you.
Yeah.
You know you can help them, but they don't know because until remember, I this all this is connected. Remember, I also say people use money to buy what they need, like something in their consciousness. We don't spend money for things that is not in our consciousness
True.
unless it's automated. We signed up for something 3 months ago, we forgot it. So that person is just billing us in our subconscious.
Right.
But but for us to consciously swipe, buy, what we are buying is conscious. We are doing it an active, we are engaging. When I say psychology of selling, my point is you need your product to be in the consciousness of the people you want to sell to.
Hmm.
And not just passive, active enough that the desire is elevated. Remember, that's why I said don't feed people that are not hungry.
Yes. This is something I'm keeping in mind going
You
forward.
can stimulate hunger.
Yes,
Remember. Your content should stimulate hunger, and then
Honestly, because it's what I've been, when I sit and look at all the content I put out there, especially the videos, so much effort not selling, so much effort giving food to people who were not hungry, and then so much effort giving free stuff that is of value and being used in paid programs that I'm not benefiting from. It's silly.
Hmm.
But now I know, and now I'm aware, and I can more easily construct what I want to say. Who do I want to say it to? What's the purpose of this piece of content? How am I going to sell within this piece of content? Um, and it feels good because I know that what I'm sharing is helpful to someone. I think it's because I have this woman in my head who I told you found a video of mine. She was struggling to teach her child his letters, and she came across a video of mine back in my struggle video days.
From Australia, right?
Yes, from Australia, I had no clue what I was doing, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna put my cell phone up like this and show people what I'm talking about and talk over the video and it'll be fine. And she found that video and she was like, that made sense. Okay, so I shouldn't teach him from A all the way to Z. There's a different sequence. I was like, yeah, there's a different sequence that gets kids reading like this if you
Hmm.
do it right. She found me, messaged me on Instagram, messaged me on Facebook. Where can I get these cards? And Toyin, I hadn't made the cards to sell. I'd only made the cards for the video just to show. Oh, no problem. She's like, I want those specific ones. I made them for her
And you sold it.
and sold it, and she bought it. She was like, thank
And
you.
I think you also sold her something else.
I sold her a bundle because I had the CVC word cards.
Yep.
I redesigned those. And then I had letter cards that were red and blue that it's I think part of the issue is there are things I just think are so common,
Hmm.
but they're not. To
Hmm.
so common for my field. And I
Hmm.
see them all the time, like, oh, no one would want these. Yes, they do. They need it. When they see it and it solves that problem, they need it. They want it from you right then.
Yes.
And so now I'm like, I need to keep remembering that just because it's common to me, it doesn't mean it's common to them and it solves that problem they have.
Exactly. And that's why I say, when it comes to psychology of selling, we need to get out of our own feelings, our own heads, and get into the minds of the people we care about
Yeah.
and the people that need the solution that we've created. We need to understand them. We need to see them. Even in retail, we say customer obsession because
Mhm.
the customer is at the center of all of this. And customer clients, whatever name we put them, the bundle is, do you see them? And that's why we're going through this month's 5 series. Identify them, understand them, be intimately aware, and then build for them.
Yes.
Build for them and then market to them. Because when we build that, we now have to tell them about it because if they don't know, if they don't know the solution exists, they'll still keep struggling.
Yeah.
And then we sell to them and then we support them.
Yep.
Right. So that's just one in a series of, like mindset, branding, So for me, okay, let me turn this around. Do you have any questions for me? I know.
Well, yes, I do.
Okay, good.
I wrote down a couple of questions
Okay,
because
good.
not just for me, but for anyone who's watching, because they need
Okay.
to get into this. All right. So I talked about this briefly, but what qualities for those people who are still in the job trying to make that transition, what qualities should they be working on while they're still working for someone that would help them transition into this entrepreneurial life?
Okay. Eh, My own philosophy about life in general is bloom wherever you're planted.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something, at least for me, is that everywhere I've been, whether as a staff or an entrepreneur, whatever I'm doing, I give my best to it. So you always want to give your best there. You also need to acquire as many skills as you can there because the world of entrepreneurship. So, for example, I had a team. You can delegate all those things, delegating. Oh, good luck with that. You delegate everything to yourself to start with. So I say entrepreneurship, it's like the more you can do, the dexterity that you have, the quicker you can lift your brand up. The
Mhm.
other thing is that we all underestimate how long it takes, right? This is something in the blind spot of entrepreneurs and first time, right, business owner. The reason, see my what I'm doing right now, it's in the blind spot. People are not aware. I'm bringing it into consciousness to
Mhm.
say we all underestimate how long it actually takes to become successful, not start. We're starting a journey of success, but to attain a level where you can go on vacation and the system and automation and everything, processes, works, right? So for me, the reason I established the Business and Leadership Academy and all of this work that I did, people were coming to me without preparation,
Mhm.
right? Without the right structure, without the right foundation. So what I believe, and this is what I practice and teach, is that entrepreneurship can be easier. Okay. It can be easier, it can be faster. If only we go through that process. And I'm working on some books now because I've tested the 7, it used to be 5 modules, then I extended it, then I keep adding on. Now it's sitting at 7. Is I'm always engineering that this is what it takes to build a business. If you can master this thing, you can accelerate your journey to success. So that's what I want people to know, that it doesn't have to be as painful, it doesn't have to be as frustrating, it doesn't have to take as long as it averagely takes. Because if you look at the statistics, most businesses that start after 3 years, what happens? That's why I've written some articles in terms of why this is true. So overall, I say I became a student of entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
For me now to become a teacher and an instructor and a coach, I studied it. Because my background, I've had to implement some of the most sophisticated systems for the world's biggest companies. And I was like, that was tough. Entrepreneurship, is there how can I engineer and accelerate this? What are the components? Because I implement the most sophisticated systems in the world. That's my background, actually. Supply chain logistics. So I'm like, okay, time out. We know how to move massive products all over the world. I used to manage and help craft the strategy, 3 and 5 year strategy for Walmart, the back office systems for Walmart for $250 million. Like, how do we support? Like, that's what I used to do. Like,
Yeah.
what do we need to do from real estate investment, people investment, right? All of those things, technology backbone, the back office for Walmart, what we needed to implement and invest in the 3 5 years. Like, I helped craft that. So I mean, I'm not coming into this without, right? So what I've just done is to bring that knowledge. So if you're in corporate, there are several transferable skills that you can bring into entrepreneurship. Some of it is your process mindset, your relationship mindset, your service, how to serve people. If you do that really well as an employee, you want to do that. Now, there's one thing you don't want to bring. Okay, I'll describe it with one of my analogies. Okay, being an employee is like being a lion in the zoo,
Mhm.
where your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, meaning your income, somebody else is, you're being employed to bring value into the marketplace, and you've negotiated your salary that they increase 5%, right, every year. That is fine. But when you step out of that zoo, domesticated spot, and you're now here in the jungle where you have to go get your own breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay? Your first attempt is like, whoa, you're like a cat. Like, people are like, what was that son? Like, but within you, you have the capacity. So this is why I speak to people's greatness. You know what the stuff you're made of.
Mhm.
Some of it may be lying dormant because your employer is not extracting that from you. So I think that's the biggest transition that has to happen, is that there are certain skills that you need to awaken because now you're responsible for breakfast, lunch, and dinner plus storage house, like Joseph.
So
You
true.
need to save for the next 7 years. You know what's happening right now, because 401k is not 401k. You have to now design your retirement plus, you
Mm.
know. Okay. So those are the things. So there are several things that's transferable, but I think the biggest thing around mindset is for me, incorporate. I was creating incredible value. When I left, I kept creating value because that's who I am, but forgetting to ask for chiching. So that's why when I created this design is you have to engineer for success. And I do it in such a way that feels very comfortable with my personality. So I don't talk about money
Mhm.
because money is a byproduct.
Yes.
It will come if I create what you want, right? Because what people struggle with selling is because they are just focused on money. So in my programs, I don't talk about that. What I take Eventually, when I talk about value, remember, I will always talk about value and I'll say value should be more than price because everybody wants a deal. I will give you the framework, I'll give you the strategy. Okay? Because when you take care of the framework and the strategy, all you have to do is put a price tag. Because when you go into Walmart, I want to buy banana. Banana is what took me there. And
Mhm.
guess what? With inflation right now, if you go into a gas station, gas is what took you there. When you're there
You'll buy.
and you look at the price, and even if it has doubled, at that point, you have to decide, do I still need that gas or not?
True.
So we need to start building businesses that is structured in such a way that is high value, highly desired, incredible transformation, meaning it does exactly what it says is going to do plus some. And that's why I use the analogy of you need to see yourself as the doctor. Somebody came into your office and say something is wrong with me, and you diagnose, you say, go and use this medication. And when they use it, they feel better. I have a story though. There's one story I have. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is okay. It's kind of funny. Where this doesn't apply is when you prescribe and the person doesn't use the medication. I can't help there. And the story is that somebody came, bought into a bundle of resources that will help educate them in certain things. And then the person came back again. And when the person was speaking to me, I was like, this doesn't sound like if you've asked, if what I gave you, I know it's effective, but you're not sounding somebody at the intelligence level of my content. Because if you follow me, if you read my articles, if you read my things, and if you take my classes, you will sound different because I know this because people come back to me and say, hey, for example, one of my clients said, Tony, I went to the US government and I was talking, and the US government official said, where did you hear that? How do you know that? Say,
Mhm.
I've been following Tony, I've been taking Tony's classes. So I know how effective, but this person wasn't sounding right. And I asked this simple question. I said, have you read those articles? Because they address and answer all these questions. The guy said no. I said, I can't help you. I
I
can't help you.
cannot open your mouth, put the food inside, and move your. It can't.
I
Yeah.
can't help you. That day, I realized, oh, okay, maybe you can help me. What did I do wrong? I'm like, oh, do you know what it led me to do? I introduced a new section in our customer template. Okay. I said, what is the mindset and behavior that your customers must exhibit that will help them be successful?
Mm.
That experience made me upgrade our templates because we can give you everything and content. If you don't invest time in reading and investing and leveling up yourself, we can't help. At that point, it's like somebody enrolling in your class and not doing the assignments. So
Very.
that was another story. That was another story. It got me thinking. I was like, whoa, what did I do wrong? What could I do better? Oh yeah, that was another experience. Like That made, because whenever I experience these things, I
Mm-hmm.
take it back into my lab and I try to say, okay, what do I need to fix it? Can I fix it? That's why I also talked about blind spot. Maybe it was in the person's blind spot. So I had to say, this journey, you will read. You will read. You will read. You will hear me say that. You will take a
I heard
PhD.
you say that. You will
You
work.
will master.
You
You
will
will
do
master
homework.
entrepreneurship. You will master entrepreneurship. Because if
I
you don't master it, it will master you.
yes.
So which one do you like? I
Yeah.
have taken that entrepreneurship, I have put it under my feet, and I have stepped on it. I'm the master.
That's the thing. I've realized if you don't master your business, it will master you. And
It will wing you. It's like you're in a watch. It will finish. It will make you. You cannot sleep well. I've
on
been there. I've been there.
it
And I
is
said, no. I said, this is not sustainable.
it's not.
I said, no, I did not leave that for this. No, 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 no. I said, God in heaven, no, you didn't call me to come and be a slave of it. No,
Very true.
I had to speak to myself. And that's why I speak this clearly. I was
Mm.
like, no, 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 no. I didn't leave corporate and executive this and this for this. I said, this I must master. I will master you. I will dominate you. I will instruct you. I will send you on errand. You will go and bring down money to me. I will send you on errand.
It's true. I think about it because of my background. I think about it in terms of teaching. And when you get that class every year, you must master them or they will master you. And the younger they are, they will eat you if
Mm,
you do, because they don't know what they're doing.
mm,
Kindergarten, pre-K kids, they're just all over creation. And
mm,
until you can master them, once you do, with love and it's fun, but until you get those things in, it's a nightmare. And so I'm like,
trust me.
I need to do that with my business as well. And that's the thing I have found to be so helpful working with you is in addition to, yes, I came with a lot of things, but the system. I told a friend that I talk about you all the time. And so I tell her about this. So I was like, there's the clarity she brings in terms of the process and the strategy is what I needed. And now I can see how to, it's not effortless, but it's not as strenuous as it was before. And I didn't want to do, and I just didn't, how am I going to do this? Now I'm like, oh, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing. I have a plan on I have built for my customer. I have built this thing, even as I would develop new products and I would test it out myself. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I know they don't want this, too much cutting. How can I make this simpler? So
Mm,
my things are made for them. Now, how can I make telling them about it easier for me?
mm-hmm, exactly. And when you tell them clearly that journey of, I see you as you are today, but I can take you on a new journey through my products and services. And this is what the promised land looks like. Do you
Mhm.
want to go? Some will start with you now, some maybe 6 months, some maybe a year, some maybe even be 5 years. But you're building sustainability into your business because it becomes a pipeline of following and people are maturing into your pipeline. So any content you're creating right now is going to be like universal. It's going to be relevant because some of the people you're going to help, they might still be in school right now,
Yes.
right? So you might find them coming to learn from you. So this is amazing. So some of the content may be for people that will be your future customers, some may be your current customers, some may be in the near future, but you're serving, but it's for them
Yeah.
and they will grow into that space. So for me, at least that's what it is for me. Like
Well,
that.
when I think about that and I think of how I found you, I have to tell everyone this. So I had gone to Liberia. I think it was my second trip last year. It was October. and I was struggling with a particular partnership, and I was sitting in a friend's house doing my work. I was always creating stuff, and I Clubhouse is not a thing for me, but my friend had been on me about it, so I got on. Somehow I ended up in this room you were in, and you were talking, and I was like, "Oh,
Who is she?
this woman makes some sense." Oh, and then I heard you again, and then this time I came up to the stage and I asked you some questions, and then I went and found you on Instagram, and then I started watching a couple of things here and there, and I was like, you know what? Or I asked you, what course should I start with? And you told me, and I went and did it that day. And that course, light, light bulb. Like, so your free stuff was good. But that thing, I think there's always just one thing that you need that just flicks the light for you. And that was it for me. Because I'm moving into the African market and trying to understand nonprofit versus the business world and whatnot. And that course was amazing for me. And then you were doing there was another course I took, and then you had the game plan.
Mm.
And I was like, all right, I want the game plan. No, I don't want the game plan. I want all of it. I want the 12-month.
Oh my gosh.
No, I want the coaching as well. Like
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
just, and between October to now, that's a short amount of time for the amount of clarity I've gotten on how to do this. And for me, I just keep thinking, okay, so this is how it works. So if I can do it with this business, I can do it with that one, because I already have another one bubbling up in my head. And I've already like sketched things out. And I'm like, oh,
Remember, niche. Did you read niche or no niche?
listen, niche your products and services. Don't
Don't
niche
niche
your,
yourself. If
that's
you can create a pencil pen, or create it, please. I'm
right.
doing that.
And
But
it's
there's a science to it, though. There's a
yeah,
science.
there's a process to it, and you make it so simple to understand. And that's what I value as a teacher. As a
Mm,
trained teacher, I look for people who can teach, because just because you can do something doesn't mean you can teach it.
mm, mm.
So people who are as clear and lay things out in a logical order that I can follow. Thank you.
Right. And maybe finally, one thing I'm working on is when you're like me that you want to change the world, because I see business as a way of transformation, economic transformation, and the people who get attracted to my work feel the same way. It's a means to an end for
Mhm.
me and for many people. One thing though, maybe in wrapping up, is this idea of prioritization. So
Yeah.
while I'm doing so much and I have a passion for so much, I've learned how to, so it's part of my strategic planning skills that I use. Remember, I talked about 3 to 5 year roadmap for the world's largest company, the back office. I brought that skill into my business. So when you think about the cycle of innovation, the diffusion of innovation, the growth of, if you're starting something new, it takes time, it gets here, right? It's a whole science. So I'm bringing all of that. And that's why this year I prioritized this
Mhm.
teaching, coaching, teaching, coaching templates, accelerating business growth, because I wanted to do it really well. And I didn't want the other interest groups to pull me away. In fact, I had to cancel a government event in February because I was prioritizing masterclasses and weekly coaching, because I cannot be doing this really well and still chasing government officials and bringing them into the room and doing all those things. So that's also my gift to you, is that while I say let's go change the world and do all these things, we also need to be strategic in terms of what's the priority for this year. So for me, you saw the 12 month calendar. I've designed it. I am present. I am constantly engineering, solving for my students. Like I filled my own form today. Remember,
Mhm.
before we went live, I also said go download and do the work. Yes.
Yes.
So I had to prioritize this,
Mhm.
and all the resources. This is my strategy. All the resources I already designed it in my mind. It's going to be one big giant course. By this time next year, you will pay 5K, $5,000. Right? It's a giant course of everything I'm going to teach from January to December. I'll make it 5K. It could even be 10K. It's like your business toolkit. I have a name for it. It's not complete, but I have a name for it. People that already signed up are going on the journey with me. But the
Mhm.
game plan, always have a game plan. It's
Yes.
going to be what I call the business master toolkit. It will bundle everything from January to December. All the videos, all the resources, customers, part one, part two, part three, part four, part five, branding, part one, part two. It's going to be there. And then I'll just put it on the platform and then I'll move on to my next project. And anybody that comes to me and say, Toyin, I'm an entrepreneur, when I look at you and I'm saying, really? You need to go and buy that bundle.
Yes.
Buy the bundle and then come back later. So that's my game plan. That's why I'm consciously investing in this.
Hmm.
But I know many people still don't understand what I'm saying. But I will be consistent. I will show up. I'm committed to this. Call me Coach Toyin. But when I move, I move.
And it makes sense. Like there, the one thing I heard someone say, and it's so true, and this is what prompted me to invest with you, is that when you invest in a coach or a course, it should collapse the amount of time it would take you otherwise.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that is what I was looking for. And that's why I was like, okay, I need to invest in something that will collapse the amount of time this is going to take.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, that is exactly my intent. Like
Hmm.
if I knew other people were doing this better than I am doing it, then I always want to be the best. So that's something about me, my DNA. When I was a SAP consultant, I was a certified SAP consultant, the best in the world for the biggest companies in the world. Like I have that thing in me. If I'm going to do something, I don't do average.
Yeah.
I don't exist in it. Does I can't do it. It's not me. I go premium, best class, world class. That's me. When I was in high school, I was the head girl. When I was in college, PRO. Like I am that person. Because I was raised. Remember, we talked about last
Yeah.
week, we talked about being raised to function a certain way and not apologizing for it. So I don't apologize for my in the call it into secrets, whatever it is, great, whatever. So
Excellent.
for me, when I say I am a coach, it's because I've seen all these things people are doing on Clubhouse. Oh, jump on this, jump on more content. I'm like, is it that my community if that is what you're doing, it's a tactic that can help short term. In the long term, you will dance from January to you will do that thing. You can't stop it.
What
Right?
did you
So
say? That use the platforms, don't let them use you.
use social media. Don't let social media use you. I
True.
will use these are powerful platforms, powerful resources. I will show up. I will use social media to the I will squeeze that orange. You know when we're eating orange in the village,
Mhm.
even though like if you're eating orange in your house, it's different from public. Public will be like, in my house. Or if your daughter or your child brings an orange that hasn't been squeezed, you say there's still more. Or if they eat chicken, my children eat chicken like an American.
Hey,
My African side will say, what
get
is
out
that?
of here.
You've not finished the meat. The
Listen. Mhm.
Okay, I'm funny. I'm cutting into that laughter now. You got me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, see what you see. Like I am. You can only be consistent when you are yourself, right?
Yes.
Oh, you just got me into that space
And
now.
that's the other thing you told me, and that I noticed I was doing differently. I was doing differently before because I was still very much in this. You represent the government. You have to be So
Mm.
very serious and blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
Now I'm just like, all right, let's have a conversation. Let's
Yeah.
talk about this. It's light, it's fun. The video I did today was great. Like, oh, it was so fun for me. And I'm looking forward to the rest of them I'm going to do because I like this and I let people see me, all of me, and my passion for kids and helping teachers and parents. And it feels so effortless. That
Yeah.
part feels effortless because I realize I've done a lot of the work. I've built for them. I know who they are. I've done that bit. I've spent the hours and hours creating products and like I have 90 products in my store and then I have a
Mm.
big lit kit that has over a
Yeah.
thousand pages of
Can you tell people where to find you? Please, your website and
My
everything.
website is www.yasarose-earlylearning.com. And you can go there and there's two tracks. There's for educators and for parents. There's a Kinderflex Lit Kit that has from phonics through sight words and all the CVC words, the little short 3-letter words that children need, games, and all the things you would need to
Yeah,
get.
so if you're a parent wanting to just help your kids at home, or if
Yeah,
you're an educator,
yeah. And I have
more
in
resources.
there, tips and strategies and explaining how to use these things. And they're simple to use. And yeah, and there's a membership if you want to join. There's a lot. I've spent a lot of time building
Yes,
for you. And now I get to tell you about it. And I like that.
I love it. I love it because wow, I mean that's also my own full circle. I've gone through all of those now, and now what I say it's now just a matter of time
Mhm.
because this strategy now you can scale it. But before, people are trying to scale what's not working. But now you can scale it. Now you can put more firepower, whether paid ads, you can host, you can do so much more because you have a clear message. You know who you're serving, you have the products that they will be passionate about. And what I've also found is that those who taste it become your advocates,
Mhm.
right? So that's really the journey for me. That's why I do this. And now my job now is to spread the word and share this with more people, right?
Yeah.
Because I've gone through the last couple of years deciding to teach. I had to first decide because I was using my own knowledge to do my own thing. Right?
Mhm.
Excuse me, but that journey took me to say, Toyin, people are interested in what you're doing, but have you bothered to sit with them and see what skill they have? Can they compete with the rest of the world? Like we need to start building international brands, like globally relevant brands. We need to start leveling up. We need to start, yes, building globally relevant brands. Even if you're building your local community, whether it's here in US, then you don't have to take it international. But I know when you're ready, I know that the biggest brands in the world that are on Fortune 500, you don't get onto Fortune 500 just by being a local company. You
Yeah.
have international footprint. So I come at it with that mindset. So for me, I started my own work at a very, very elevated space, but I've had to build what I call like step ladder to help people that want to achieve success, make it easy for them, make it attainable. Because I say success is attainable to anybody that practice the principles. Entrepreneurship as well, it has fundamentals and principles. You have to know your customer. They are the ones to give you money. What are you bringing to them? They don't just dash money because this is not a charity. If you have a product and you're giving it for free, that is charity. So
Yeah.
there's value creation, but I say value extraction. That's what I say. Women, men, we do it differently. Men, when they build network, they will extract everything they need. So I'm conscious. That's why when I coach, I call these things out like, let's just be aware. Let's move it from our blind spot and say, okay, is my behavior going to help me achieve my success? Right. So look out for that as well. As you're trying to serve the teachers, as you're trying to take them to this elevated space where they're doing their work more meaningfully, start seeing their hesitation. I'm sure you would have seen a lot of but, right? It's those yes, but
Yeah.
lean into it and seek to understand what is that, because that hesitation, many more people may have the same exact hesitation. So if you can understand it, address it, you then, so what I do when I'm writing my newsletters are my answers to the questions people ask me.
That's a good idea.
Yes. So, for example, you said transitioning from corporate to entrepreneurship. Well, I wrote a piece on 7 things you need to master, right? So, based on questions, prevailing questions on people's minds, I create a newsletter, which is kind of like a short way of just read, questions, answer, think about this, change framework in a very, I do it because I enjoy writing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and I see thousands of people consume that stuff. So I'm always engineering that as well. So that's another thing that I do is when I see the same question coming up over and over again, I'll say, okay, many more people may be having the same question. I'm going to address it. That's what the niche or non niche was about.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I'm
On
glad,
on
so glad people asked you that and you did that, because that was something I was in my blind spot. I didn't
mm,
know I was struggling with it, but I was, because there's all the stuff with Yasa Rose that I want to do, but there's also the other side of me that is more um,
leadership.
leadership, working with governments and things. And then there's, now that I'm thinking about children and their well-being, social emotional learning, that's a whole different component, because Yasaro's literacy. There's a whole, so it's that video was excellent timing for me. I was like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
Yes. Because I'm saying, particularly in our community, we need people to be solving there's so much to be solved
Yes.
for us, by us, for us, right? And unfortunately, Clubhouse, people are out there just selling this sound bites, niche, 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 and people that don't have the skills to understand how to use it. It's a concept you use,
Mm-hmm.
right? So every solution I launch, yes, I will niche it because it's designed to do something specific for specific groups of people. It doesn't mean I cannot create 5 things. It's like you go to a car dealership. You go to a car dealership. It's a car dealership, but you're going to find different types of cars targeting different market segmentation. In fact, the advanced side of this is the biggest brands in the world. They are not talking about niching. You know what they're saying?
Mm.
Market share. That's
Yes.
the advanced version of all of this foundation. The next level is when you now have a full business, you should be going after a market share, right? Capturing, understanding that industry, that sector, your competition, who else is doing what, how do you differentiate? This is the advance. This is where I want us to all get to. But first of all, we need to master, we need to build before we can compete. You
Mm-hmm.
can't compete if you don't have all of these structures in place, because what you're going to compete with is the understanding of the market, the understanding of your customers, and the differentiation in your products, and how aggressive you can be in marketing to capture more options, right? And then you're going to use your brand to as an umbrella because you will keep launching more things.
Yes, underneath
Okay,
it.
so that's, I think, in those sophisticated terms, but I also had to, it's like school. Start with level 1 before you start advancing people. But where I'm going or where I'm coming from is very sophisticated. These are the biggest brands in the world. They're not talking about niche or not niche. They're like, we want it all. We want the entire planet to drink Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is not niche. They will give you diet. They will put raspberry. They will put orange. What do you want? Tell us. In our factory, all we have to do is just change flavor. It's the same factory. There are some things you're producing now. You just need to put some flavors on it and you sell more.
And that's the thing I realized, because some of my products with the early childhood, it's we do a lot of themed things. So you'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's Easter theme or it's Halloween theme, or And I was like, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I
you
can
just
take one
yeah,
template and change it because teachers will buy it because it's relevant to
yeah,
what they're doing
yeah.
in their
Oh,
class.
trust me.
I
Yeah.
just
That's where I'm coming from. When I was with Walmart, what we're talking about is action alley, because the foot traffic in the store, we engineer everything: the smell, the sound, the way you move around. We will put milk, the essential, we will put it at the very, very end. Because you are coming for milk, we know you are coming for milk and egg. That's why you stepped into that war. But we want to make sure that your basket, we load you. Like
full.
per trip, every trip you make into a store, we are calculating what you loaded in your basket, and we're trying to increase the value of your basket. That's what it is about. So
Mhm.
psychology, we will put that thing, we will form a maze for you, a maze, and you start seeing, hey, gum, hey, this, hey, that, and you're like loading.
I was in the store the other day after one of our conversations, and I'm going to check out, and I'm so aware of it now. Of oh look, oh they've put this here,
Action alley.
huh? And then
Yeah.
as I'm going to check out, look at all the little things
Yes,
that would just, if I take it, would just
it's by
increase.
design. So remember, the strategy also helped, encourage you to design. Looking now, so now that we're no longer reactive, we're now the boss of our business. This is boss lady, right? You can now plan out that next month my sales targets, these are the products I want to push,
Yes.
these are the products I want to sell more of. And then strategically you can design your content and speak about those things you want, because that's a strategy we use in retail. Whenever you see anybody at Sam's Club that is offering you something, come and taste.
It's that specific thing.
We are trying to move that specific product. And guess what? Most of that product, it's a new introduction, meaning customers don't know it exists. So we want to elevate awareness that we are selling you that stick of whatever it is. We want to increase awareness, or we're doing a rollback. We want to just, so it will be discounted. So they'll show it to you. It's discounted. There's a deal on it. There's something on it. We just want to sell more of it. And somebody is behind the scene at headquarters counting the numbers. So the meetings I used to be a part of, you see this, I miss those things. You be in the room. Each buyer will be coming up on the stage and say, we just made this money. We just sold this. We are going to sell more of this. We are shipping this. The
Wow.
banana we sold can go from here to the moon. I'm like, that's what I was in. Like, there's no, the incredible thing about that space is the sense of possibility.
Mhm.
Like, it's like limitless. What you can do is limitless. That's why in the game plan I said, unleash the limitless possibility of your potential. Everything that stops us is here.
Yes.
That's it. As long as once you can get rid of all those things, you see that this world is available. It's available. It's just a matter of time. Now, when we see Amazon, so when we see Amazon, we say Amazon. What we need to be asking, which is in people's blind spots, everybody says Amazon, Amazon. But please ask this question: how long did it take them?
I've read about that. Yes.
People say Walmart, Walmart. How many years?
Mhm.
Because there's something that happens where the sooner you learn these things, you now start realizing that you'll be growing faster. Then at some point, there's the mathematical equation of exponential growth kicks in. It doesn't kick in until you've operationalized certain things, systemized, and then optimized. When I use those words, people are not used to it. I'm sorry, right? But these are the things we engineer. We engineer for success. These companies are engineered to succeed. It's not by default, it's nothing.
Mhm.
You have human behavioral scientists, data scientists, the most brilliant people in the world are behind these biggest brands. So let's just say what it is, right? And then we want to build brands and we're not ready to invest to even level up ourselves. We're not even saying hire people. We're not saying hire PhD. We're just saying you go to school and become the PhD. That's all I'm saying. That's why
Yes.
when I joke, I say, because Can you imagine the brilliance of Jeff Bezos? Eh, that's right. So anyway, we have to engineer for success. Why? When you optimize, you design the structures now, you find out that the growth you would achieve this year should be greater than last year. But
Mm-hmm.
the power is that by January, end of this year, because one of the programs we're going to do end of the year is how to design business goals. Because when I worked for Whirlpool, we used to, like, before we go into a new year, we've talked about our sales planning. So if you can start thinking, like, what's happening is most people are reactive, you're not even able to plan. The moment we can stop being reactive, we master it, we understand it, we optimize and systemize, and we know what's going on. At that point, you can now go to the next level of looking out into the future of your business next year, 2 years, and start planning and engineering. And at that point, that's where you kick into exponential growth. Because here's one example. You could literally tell yourself, next year, my goal is to 10x my numbers. But you
And
can't do that if you don't even know.
what your numbers are.
Right. And because we've done the work, what that exercise is, when you set that goal, you now answer this question. You ask this question and then try to answer it. To 10x, what do I need to do? Because now it's either you go and find more customers, the same similar types of customers like the ones you've been serving,
Mm-hmm.
or you need to create new products for your existing customers, meaning sell them something else,
Mm-hmm.
or you need to expand your offerings to new customers. There's another matrix. We'll get to it though in the class. Like there's another matrix. Or should we retool our business model? Are we charging too little? I have been practicing that. I've been doubling every year. I've been doubling my price every year. That's what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, I'm going to laugh. The reason is because when I talk about pricing value, there's some there's there's something you need to be watching out for in the market. When demand for your work goes up, you can charge
You
more.
can charge more. Yeah.
It's I'm sorry, I'm
Yes.
letting all my secrets into so so there are certain things you can. It's like Zoom can charge us more because we all want Zoom.
Yes.
Before we wanted it, even if they tell us to pay $1, we won't buy.
Yeah, we didn't
Remember.
see value in it, and now we do.
So the more value, so you want to be engineering and elevating the value. Why? When you cash out on that value, it's like stocks. You are putting money, and the
Mm,
day the market jumps up, hey, hey, cash out.
there you go.
Yep, cash out, and then, but you know what? Other people will be trying to go in when you are cashing out. Good luck with that. So anyway, so that's another strategy. Another strategy is your marketing. Do you want to take some of the money you made, pump it? Do you want to remember we talked about last week? We talked about taking photo shoots and video shoots and investing. That's You see my point. You could start investing in certain things that will elevate your value, right? But before, people can't do that. I won't advise people to do that because until you know exactly, do I want to engineer and improve on my brand? Like, I want to change my color. I need a new artist, my creative, because in going into 2023, 2024, 2025, I want to level up the brand. So you can level up everything in that 7 module process. But until you can't level up what you've not mastered.
True.
So that's anyway, this has been fun because you allowed me to just go all over because
So when you start talking, I just sit and absorb all of it. As I've told you, I put on if when I'm driving, I just put on your
and you
video
be hearing Toyin say,
and listen.
don't use social media, don't let social media use you. Because I'm like, ah, you know, because I am engineering for my lifestyle.
Yes.
You know what? I the vision I have of what I want to do, of why I'm doing this, It has to be. And I know my value. I know the transformation. I know who I am. I'm not begging nobody because I can change life. I do change lives. I know that.
Yeah.
If you want it, great. If you don't, next. Like so from
Yeah.
so I know why I'm doing this because let me also say this. The people who matter to certain work that I do, I don't do you know, I don't even they are the easiest people. Like, oh my gosh. Can I just say this? At the highest levels in the world, penthouse. I say ground floor, middle floor, at the penthouse, they are the easiest people to sell anything to. My experience. But you have to be the person they want to buy from.
Mm.
At the highest levels, they I don't talk. All this one we're saying content, because you know why? The more successful you are, the more you know what you want.
True.
And the more you know what you want, the more you are out looking for what will help you achieve it clearly. The more you are out looking for what will help make you achieve it clearly. When you see it, you know it, you don't even negotiate. The most successful people in the world do not negotiate.
Toyin,
Yeah.
I always said I have this habit. If I see it and I want it, I get it. I don't think about it.
And it's a success mindset. It's in fact, there's another layer of it where they will approach you and they will give you an offer. They will offer you what they think you know because they will then say, and I want this in exchange.
Mm-hmm.
That's another world. And I live in that world too. And that world is so different from this world of entrepreneurship. It's a different world. And the numbers, they're different.
Yeah.
The numbers, they have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's what I'm saying. That is the next. I have those. I'm going after those things. I have those things lined up, but
Mm.
I need to get this right. I need, because there's a volume. What I say is that we need to help people get quickly into the middle. Because when opportunities are coming from the top, you have to have a certain skills to participate. But most people that are still waiting, you only get crumbed. Like, not middle is where everybody takes advantage of opportunities, right? So that I know I just totally put that out there, but what I have found in my experience is I don't have to talk too much when I'm dealing with um like this pin, right, was given to me by Ambassador Muchanga. He's the economic development commissioner, trade,
Mm.
industry, mining, tourism, youth, women, and for the continent. And this person, in my event said, so if you call me, I'll come running. I want you to succeed. Anything my office you need, we're here for you.
That's
Like, I
awesome.
don't have to sell nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He knows his work is aligned with the things I do at the economic development standpoint. So it's like, Toyin, you just and I do partner in terms of training government with his office. His office has sent a communique to all the countries in Africa on my behalf with my name. Like, talk to Toyin, talk to Nazaru, they will teach you. I'm talking, no, not that he said that, but in my head, I'm reading it like with his accent. So yeah, so that's the work I was doing, but I realized that I had to build two strategies: top down, bottom up.
Yeah.
So I have a top down. There's certain things I do, which is I had to put those things. I had to prioritize this over that for now,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to switch it back when this work is done. The top down. So bottom up is, how do we give people the skill? So when commissioner is telling you we want to do certain things with the private sector, PPPs, who are the private sector?
Right.
Who are they? I have different government officials now that will tell me we have land, we have this. Tony, what should we do? I'm like, let's go and prepare. Like, we are coming. We are preparing the future leaders that will come and clear all these things, right?
Mm.
Anyway, I know this was so unrelated, but that's
No,
my
There's
That's my
always
why. That's my why. Because you are a leader, right? You are the voice. Remember some of the coaching we did in terms of community of peers. Have you done that
yes,
speaking?
and I'm going to
Tell
be
me, tell me.
I have my first speaking engagement on the 19th with early childhood, and it's people from all different aspects of early childhood. So some business coaches, some like child well-being people. I'm coming with literacy. It's gonna be amazing. I'm and someone reached out to me again. She she reached out to me on Instagram. Apparently, I didn't respond. She sent me an email. Was like, I really would love for you to come and be a part of this. I thought, oh, okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
And
So
when
I'm
you shared that, it was like a gift to me because we had had that conversation of
uh,
investing in community of peers and those. So when you shared that, I was like, yes.
I'm
And
so
then the
excited.
strategy, yeah, and you have your strategy and all those things.
Mhm.
So
So I
you
get to go and talk about early childhood and literacy and specifically what I do, and it's very exciting.
and brand and sell.
Yes.
If you need me, you tell them where to find you
Okay.
and say
Well,
thank you so much. We talked about platforms and value, right? So
yes.
anyway, those are so thank you, thank you. So I'm telling you, like, I've never done this before, right?
Mhm.
I tell people that I'm still one of the most private people, but I function and operate as an extrovert because the mission, I'm mission oriented. So what I know for a fact is that there are so many things I do privately that I don't tell the world. Unfortunately, when I don't talk about it, it's in people's blind spots. So I want to thank you for being open enough. I don't, the work that we do is private, is kept private. But when I nudged you and asked, I don't even know. I think you were typing. I was like, we should bring you on. So
Yeah.
I want to thank you for the openness to share your story. The video will be here, but I'll get you a copy of the video. So if you need to put that out there, because I think we need to tell our story more. We need to let the world know why we're doing what we're doing, our passion. And then hopefully I'm also asking people to help share it. So if you know anyone in this world, maybe just, parents that want to teach better, right? We have here the leading expert, global expert when it comes to serving in this space at the governmental level. She's done it in the school system. She's led as an administrator. She's done consulting for governments, really at the leading front of this. So it's been an honor because I tell you, this is why I do this, is because I want to equip, empower, and serve, the leaders of the future, those who want to transform the landscape because there's still so much work ahead of time. So thank you so much. Your parting words and any feedback for me, what could I do better? I'm really
Well,
open.
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for showing up as you, because I've said this to you before and I'll say it again. It was your authenticity and your straight speaking resonated with me. There was no wavering in what you said, and I needed that. And it made me trust that you knew what you were talking about and that I would get what I needed. And I did, and I have. And I am so beyond grateful that I went through our one-on-one coaching, and I'm grateful that I'm still in the program, the year-long coaching as well, group coaching. Um, in terms of feedback, just keep doing what you're doing. Honestly, it is it is a blessing to
Mm.
people more so than you know.
Mm.
And there have been nuggets I've shared with people, and they are like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is the link right here. Go follow her on YouTube
Mm.
because she will straight." And I'm just really appreciative and blessed to be part of your.
Oh, well, thank you. So I struggled with speaking street for many, many years.
Mm,
I assumed people knew what I was saying. So when I say trade with Africa, come to my events, this, that, these are the speakers, and then I back out. because I don't want to be in people's, like, I mind my business a lot. For many, many years, I just would do my work and put it out there and say and expect that people understood what I was saying. But turns out 2020 was the big shift for me because we all slowed down, right? The world shut down. And that was when I went through this internal shift, major, major shift. And I felt God really challenging me like, yeah. You're telling people trade with Africa, but you're building an army. Can your army fight? That was the question. Can they pull this off?
Mm.
Really, they're coming. You're bringing, like, your message is attracting people, and people are like, oh yes, oh, we like your video. Oh, nice. They're all saying nice, 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 and they're coming and following you. Like, I have thousands of people following me, but the group of people following you, what can they do? Like, can you take them into buyer meetings, into meetings with government, into like, would like, do they have the skill? And I was like, no. But it's none of my business. They should go and acquire the skills. And it's like, where? Where? Oh, yeah. I mean, this was a really, I'm being very vulnerable. Like, this was a real, like, okay, is it now my responsibility? Is it now, is it now? So I have to teach? No, no. I just want to sit and be, conducting. Say, no, better roll up your sleeve. You must teach. You must create templates and make it simple. And what about, about what the Bible says, by the vision, make it plain that he who reads will run. So you have to write certain things. You have to create certain things because it doesn't exist for our people.
Mm-hmm.
I say, Shay. I say, Shay. That's how I took on the role of, it started little. Another thing that happened for me end of that year was, Toyin, clear your calendar. I was like, what? Yeah, make room on your calendar because you couldn't ask, like, I couldn't do, like, there was, I mean, the last 3-4 years, I wasn't doing this. I wasn't, right. So that was like, make room on those calendar. Pick a day, pick 2 days that is for coaching, that is for guiding, that people can book your calendar, people can meet with you, people can talk to you. I'm like, yeah, it took me saying yes to that. That's where it started from. Just reorganize. I had to reorganize my calendar. Even today, I keep engineering my weekly calendar to say, okay, Monday I will do this, Tuesday I will do that, Wednesdays I will do this. That's the only way I can function because I'm all over, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's been my journey of, okay, you need to do this. I'm like, so every time I say yes and I show up and then more, and it's like, so now the more looks like the Business and Leadership Academy. It was entrepreneurship. Now even more is, you
Is
know yes, and then launching the game plan. And the reason I'm designing it the way I'm designing it is so that it can scale,
mm-hmm.
so I can reach more people with doing less work. You see, I can't scale my it's one-on-one is limited time, right? But I can scale while I still have room. I still have to remember the feedback I gave you, that someone said I need to keep that. Yes,
Yes, and I'm so happy that person.
I know. But the next step for me is when I say the Business and Leadership Academy, Nazaru Academy, is me showing up every week to teach principles and guide and invest in those who invest and take them on this journey. And then when this year is done, the current plan, because you never know what God will come up in January 20. The current plan is to take everything and organize it into a tree, just like in Thinkific, right?
Mhm.
Where mindset will be one. People will have to, it will be like you buy that bundle, you sit with it, it's like, it's school, it's a school. So anyway, so that's what I'm working on now. And thank you for being our pilot, some of our pilot students.
It's a good school.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
a good school.
So
Hey,
yeah,
can I leave? I'll send you the link to my website. Can that be put at the bottom of the
yes,
video?
yes, I can even type it right. Why? I mean, this is, tell me, just
It
spell it.
is
www dot
Yasa Rose. It's
s
it's on
a
the screen.
y a y a s s a
AH.
Dash.
ROSE,
Do I put
no
dash? No. O
no dash,
R O S E.
hyphen, now the dash,
Mm-hmm. E A.
Early earlylearning.com. Yasarose, my two grandmothers,
Oh.
were both, one was never educated, but was brilliant and educated all her children. The other was a kindergarten teacher.
Did I get that spelling well?
Yes, that's it.
So I want you guys to go check this out. Let me see what's the best way to. Is that better?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Oh, this one. S www dot YASSAH Rose dash earlylearning.com. Go check it out if you're a parent with young kids. She will give you the packages and tools that will help you teach, making it easy,
Making teaching easy.
making teaching easy. That's the
Mhm.
and if you're also an educator that you need more toolkits, she's the person you want to go to. And it's been an honor to just support you on this journey.
Thank you.
And I've loved this conversation. Look at time has gone so fast.
I
That's
know
what
it
we do.
flies when we talk.
Last week I was like, oh, bye bye. Bye bye now. Let's
I
all
want to hang up.
Oh, I didn't want to let go. See, it's just I can't believe this. This is probably one of the longest lives, but it's been a joy. Just
Yes.
talking as friends, supporting each other. And I also shared last week, like this is what for me business is. We can do business with one another,
Hmm.
support each other's business, level up together, grow each other. And imagine if we could just like in my head, like this is it. This is it. If we can build community of like-minded people that are pursuing excellence, kicking it in business, building global brands, making chiching plus some, building
Hmm.
legacy for our community, bringing on more people we can coach and pass on. What else? This is at the end of the day how we grow the economy. It starts first with us. So thank you for being on that journey. And if you have any questions, let me know. Remember today's assignment. I
Yes.
told we shared it before. That work, that template
Hmm.
for the next 3 weeks, it's going to help you get more marketing content
Oh, good.
because your content will be designed around what you write down.
Hmm.
I'll tell you next week we'll talk about that. But I told you, right? I did it myself. So I'm going on this journey as well. So this is my work.
Hmm.
Trust me. I am teaching, but I'm also a business owner. So okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I know people joined us on Instagram as well. Thank you so much. Whoa, it's quite a lot of people. But I'll try and find a way of bringing some of the clips from YouTube because they didn't see your face to
Oh,
Instagram. But
oh,
please
sure.
go join YouTube. But I'll bring some clips as well. Remember the strategy about Instagram. People
Yes.
stay on Instagram, so you need to move clips. Okay. These are the things we talk about. Like we're coming up with strategies and
Yes. To make life
oh, thank you,
yes,
my dear. See you around. See you next week. But you know where to find me.
definitely. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Bye.
you so much. Bye. I'm gonna play my checkout video and then please go check out our website. Check it out as well. Any feedback, please pass it on. Let's do this for the family. Okay. Bye.